Hello everyone, welcome back. So today I'll be doing an explanation of how I will be marking your lab report lah. Alright, so I've given you the lab report format, so it is gonna be basically based on that format lah. Right? Okay, so the first mark will be on the title. So if the title is correct, then I will be giving you 1 mark. So 1 mark. This is the title. And you also have to write the objectives of the experiment. So if you've written both of the objectives ataupun list down all the objectives based on the experiment, I will then give you another 1 mark. Okay? And then you don't have to write the procedure. So you can just skip that part and then we have to look onto the observation punya part lah. Okay, so basically under observation we have data tabulation. Let me just show it back to you. So we have data tabulation, which is 6 marks. You have to have a correct table along with the units, and then you have to also record the sensitivity of the apparatus used correctly, and then you should also have a consistent decimal point. And then the second part for the observation part is on calculation, which will be 10 marks lah. Okay, so it is basically focusing on the centroid correctly calculated, the gradient is correctly calculated, and then required value is stated with correct unit. Okay, and then lastly for observation, it is going to be on the graph part, so it will be 11 marks. So you should have the title, correct axis with label and units, and then suitable scale and size, plotted at least 60% of the graph paper. And then for the plotting part, the centroid and all data should be correctly plotted. Next, best fit line lah. It has to go through the centroid and then as many points as possible lah. It should also be balanced. And then within best fit line, and then you also should draw the triangle of gradient more than 50% of the graph. Okay, so don't draw begitu kecil saja. It should be more than 50% lah. Alright, so let's look at the sample. So the observation here, we are going to look at firstly the angle. So she is using 10 degree plus minus 1 degree. Okay, I will also accept when you write just like this. So, and then we are going to look at the table. So we have the length, correct, with correct sensitivity. And then this one also is correct. Lepas tu we have the period. And then this one as square. Okay, so you will be given marks there. And then if we look at the amount of decimal point ataupun the number of decimal point used, it is consistent. So if it is consistent, we will be giving full mark lah. Okay, untuk the data tabulation parts. Okay, so this is gonna be 6 marks lah. If it's correct, I'm gonna look at the next one. So this is correct, this is correct, and then this one's correct. So I'll be giving her a 6 because dia punya the table is correct along with the units. Units here ada, lepas tu sensitivity dia pun correct, which is 0.1, 0.001 ni semua ni. Okay, so 6 marks lah. Right, and then moving on to the calculation part, which is 10 marks. We have to look at whether this person has correctly calculated the centroid. So centroid is this one, so 65, and then it is 2.59. Okay, so usually I'll be calculating it with a calculator lah, obviously, but I can't find my calculator. But if it's correct, then I'll be giving marks on centroid juga lah. Okay, and then you should also correctly calculate the gradient. So this is the gradient part. Again, I'll be checking this sendiri lah guna calculator. Sekarang Tepela tunjukkan. Okay, so unit pun betul. Okay, so that is the gradient. And then the required value, which is the gravitational acceleration, which is this part here, is correctly calculated lah. Okay, correct unit juga. So she will then again get 10 marks. Okay, sebab semua tu correctly calculated. Okay, if they're correctly calculated lah, for now I'm not gonna, for this video I will not calculate it using my calculator, but you know what I'm doing now lah, right? Okay, lepas tu yang untuk this part, it should be in the discussion part lah. So it's not supposed to be in your calculation part. So yeah, don't put it here, put it under this part here, discussion. Okay, right. So lepas tu graph, 11 marks. For the graph part, what I will be looking at is correct table with axis. Lepas tu correct table with axis, sorry, I mean correct axis along with the units lah. Okay, so you should have the title. So this one ada title, and then title dia mesti correct lah. Lepas tu, if we look at this, I can't really see if the graph is more than 50% because sekarang ni kamu cut yang di sini. So kalau boleh mesti kasih full lah, sebab based on this graph I can see that this is actually not more than 50% of the graph. Okay, this is not more than 50% of the graph. So if it's not more than 50% of the graph, you will lose mark lah. Okay, it won't be full mark. And then, so if you scan dia, make sure kamu letak dia, make sure kamu tunjuk lah the full page. Okay, because now I can't really see the full page, so I'm assuming this is less than 50%. Okay, so it should be more than 50% lah. Sorry, it should be more than 60% of the graph. So this is now less than 60%, so you won't be getting 11 marks lah. Okay, lepas tu axis with label and unit. So this one is correct, and then this one is what, length, I think, centimeter. Boleh lah. Okay, and then you are using a suitable scale and size plotted. So untuk that mark kurang lah, sebab sekarang ni it is less than 60%. Okay, and then you are drawing a best fit line through the centroid. Yes, it is best fit. And then within the best fit line, meaning that it is balanced semua tu lah. And then the draw triangle of gradient more than 50% of the graph. Is this acceptable? I'll still accept this, but if possible, take something somewhere around here. Okay, somewhere around there lah kamu punya triangle tu. Okay, so this one will not be 11 marks sebab dia miss out some of the important bits lah. Okay, but for now I'm not actually sure which part, how many marks should I deduct. I'll refer that later. But what you should know is this is how I'm gonna be marking your graph lah, untuk graph. Okay, but this will not be 11 marks, so this will be less than 11. Okay, all right, and then now moving on to the discussion part. So the discussion part, if your percentage error is not here, I won't be marking it. Okay, So sekarang ni percentage error kamu di calculation part, whereas it should actually be the discussion part. Okay, make sure kamu tengok the lab report format yang I've sent to you. I've uploaded in the Google Classroom. Okay, right. Lepas tu, you should also give some comment about the percentage difference. So let me read this one. The value of acceleration due to gravity for obtain the percentage error. Okay, so this is correct, and then correct. All right, you should state whether the experiment is successful or not. Okay, so that one is important, whether it is successful or not. That is the part where you comment. Okay, so comment whether the experiment is successful or not. Okay, and then we have to write one precaution step, 2 sources of errors, and 2 suggestions to overcome the errors stated. Okay, so sekarang ni dia ada precaution pula. Okay, okay, so this part, this is actually your precaution. Okay, so instead of writing sources of errors, lepas tu kamu list 1, 2, 3, you should write precaution, and then write this one lah untuk under precaution. Okay, after that baru kamu tulis another line, you write sources of errors. Okay, you have to list 2 lah. Okay, so yang ini random error when using meter ruler and stopwatch. Systematic error such as air resistance. Okay, this one is acceptable. If you explain it further, for example, you can write the presence of air resistance, especially when the fan is turned on, will affect the oscillations of the pendulum. Okay, so you can write it that way. And then untuk random error ni pun okay, that one is this. Ini accepted sudah. How to overcome the errors is suggestion. Kamu write suggestion to overcome the errors. Okay, so write it that way. And then this one I'll accept. Okay, so I'll accept both of these errors lah. But if possible, try to explain what are the effect of the errors. I mean, how will these errors affect your result of the experiment? Okay, boleh ya? Okay, and then so lastly is the conclusion part. So basically, the 10 marks is divided. Oh no, I still don't know how it's divided. But what you should know is you should have all these criteria here. Okay, you should have all these criteria here so that you can get full 10 marks. Okay, all right. And then conclusion, just 1 mark. You should state the experimental value. With correct unit. Oh, you don't actually have to do that. You just have to state whether the objective is achieved. State whether the objective is achieved or not. And then state lah the value you obtain from the experiment. Okay, so this one achieved, ataupun you write the experiment is no, the pair rate experiment is successful. Begitu je lah. Alright. Okay, begini. Okay, so this is 1 mark. Okay, boleh ah. That is how you get your 40 marks lah. Okay.